2010, our head office has been moved to Hyde Park Corner. Again, we're using the colleges such as Birkbeck and Imperial College in London. Fantastic facilities. Students have access to the library there as well, which is easier for us to really manage because of the size and the number of students that we have. And the most recent project, which I am part of, is the reason why I'm here as well. So the Overseas Support Branches project, or what we like to call OSB, using the online resources, so the virtual learning platform. But also we'd like to use your knowledge, so knowledge of experts, to make sure that students can put what they take through the online environment into the context, so business environment. And we're trying to do that through, I think you might have noticed from the module guides, very practical, so lots of case studies, lots of real life examples from the business environment. Looking at our mission statement, so I think the most important and the most relevant thing for us here is the product mission. So developing, designing, publishing, because we're also publish our own module guides, academic and professional courses in partnership with well-established institutions. So we're looking at ABP here, we're looking at ARU, and we're focusing on expanding the courses that we're offering through the ARU. So like I've mentioned at the moment, MA, so very much marketing focused courses, MA in Marketing and Innovation, and the undergraduate course BA in Marketing, and most recently MBA, so Master of General Administration. Different learning styles, so we're trying to incorporate that into the learning platform as well. We have dedicated team that offers academic support to the students, not just prior to their learning experience, but throughout, and also once they've finished. With the IMSS, so the Integrated Modular Study System, that combines the online learning platform itself with not just the MOS guide, the module guides, but also assessment and, like I mentioned, case studies of their success rate. So 90% of the students do finish with world recognized degrees, and also their satisfaction level is very high, so they do recommend the courses to other students. And I think this is what we're aspiring to give to our students, a course that's recognized, but also the one that supports them and that they're happy with. ARU is also known for conducting world-leading research, and is ranked as top 3 in the UK for their orientation sessions to international students. So the support is there for the students as well. And this is perhaps part of the IMSS. What we're trying to incorporate in the online learning environment, it is not just introducing the concepts to the students. So yes, they learn, they study different business models, different concepts and theory, but I think what's more important is then putting it into context for them. So looked at the different models that we have here and how we incorporate that into the integrated modular study systems. So yes, we have module lessons, lecture notes, but also practical applications and case studies. Reading references and materials, and also access to the e-library. Practical exams and mock exams. In fact, with ARU courses, they're purely assignment based. So what students have through the IMSS is access to samples of assignments and various structures and what they actually should look like. And then with the reference section, they have access to the e-library itself, which I'll demonstrate in a minute. We'll have a dedicated tutor for the students who is available for them through the IMSS. So there is that one-to-one interaction with the tutor via message center. But like I said, I also believe that face-to-face communication with the tutor is very, very important. It reassures the students and of course gives them the guidelines that they need, whether it's during their studies or when it comes to module assessments.
Raise your hands and I'll make her aware so she can answer the questions you might have. It's not just about lecturing.
And also it's probably a good time now, yes, so
yeah,
if you do,
there
please.
was anything anybody needs to ask, please feel very free. You make it.
Teaching methods, also the pedagogy, because there will be one-to-one, this thing communication also. There are cases, there are project works. How have you divided? What is the composition of these different pedagogies for MBA course?
Okay, so I think when it comes to IMSS, which I'll explain in a minute, we do combine the theory part. So all the module guides, the study notes are there explaining the theories, the models. We also have a dedicated online tutor for the students. So
60% is students' own creativity, and the 40% will be our input to them. So the subject experts will give their insight to what's happening in the world, what's the broad part of what they're doing, and so they can use that and make their own creation on the case studies, and that's more of the thing. So I would say in percentage basis, 60% is they will do more of the studies through online, 40%, 45% is perhaps in Nepal we might have to engage
around the world. What we often see is the faculty members, full-time faculty members, they will be engaging there for the development of this thing, curriculum, for the development of pedagogy, for the development of cases, so on and so forth. But in spite of that, for giving the true flavor of this thing, professional education, the institution, they invite most of the time the practitioners from outside, the corporate world. And there will be major portion of this thing, the contribution from the side of the corporate world. What is there in your case in this university?
yes, so we also have visiting lecturers and experts in particular fields that contribute to the sessions. So it's not just the, let's say, designated tutor. We do have guest speakers. Obviously, we're trying to, I think, combining concepts with actual context is very, very important to the students. So for them having the context, they do need to be exposed to business professionals coming and talking to the students and actually explaining how the real life works.
Yes.
It's not about concepts and, well, of course it's about concepts and models and theories, but then putting it into practice is a completely different matter. And I think this is where students need that extra guidance, support, reassurance, and people telling them how it actually works out there.
So there is a proper blend of both.
Yes, and I'm glad you actually used that word, because what we like to call it, the mode of study that we're bringing here, is not online, it's blended study. And I'm glad you mentioned that word, because blended means, yes, and there's no exams. With ARU programs that we're offering, it's written assessment. So, well, that's just to demonstrate how activities that students have, which they can do on their own with answers provided, but what I think would be more suitable is to actually conduct these in a classroom environment. And that's when the student received the feedback.
Is that on the draft?
Yes, yes, that's on the draft. Students have, there's a submission of the draft of the assignment before they actually submit the final version. And that's when they get that interaction with the tutor. Currently, there isn't any past assessment available for this module because we're running it for the first time. But with other modules, students have examples of what a good piece of work should look like. Let's see if I could try go back to this, because I think this is quite important, that you realize how the module lessons are divided. So we've got the lecture notes section, we have case studies, and then we have practical applications. And that also incorporates activities and references. So starting with the lecture notes. With all the lessons and modules, as well as case studies, they also have access to e-library. So all the references that we make with the modules, when we refer students to various publications, all those publications are available on the e-learning platform. So there's about what we call an e-book collection. So it's very easy linked from what we use as a reference to that particular section. And it's not just textbooks. Students have access to business journals through the electronic platform, which is essential for their when it comes to their assignment. There's probably about 10,000 publications here that they can refer to. And if I go back to the portal, Keynote is another important aspect of the IMSS. Usually, when it comes to the assignments, students need to do research on a particular company and then implement various models and recommendations for that company, which means they would need to have access to company reports. And if they're not working, and a lot of our students are not necessarily exposed to business environment, I think that's a fantastic aspect of the platform, because it gives them access to about 30,000 reports from different companies. So if I use, for example, doing my own assignments, and it costs a lot of money to be able to access an individual reports when you do it on your own. So I'm quite happy that this particular element of the platform is incorporated, because that means that students have access to unlimited, well, I would say about 30,000 reports without having to pay for anything. So that obviously helps them with their assessments. But again, it may be a bit overwhelming for the students when they look at it in that particular format. So again, the tutor interaction I think would be essential, and they can actually do it through the platform itself. So if they don't have access to the tutor there and then, so we have the message center. That's right. For us, because it helps us monitor students' work throughout their course of study. A lot of students might say they've done the work, and in fact it may not be the case. So we can easily access, because we as a center would also have access to that particular message center. So we know number of times that the students contacted the tutor, if they contacted the tutor, whether a particular issue has been resolved. It's the same with accessing the electronic resources. So we can monitor students' progress throughout the course by checking their individual account and what they've done as a part of their study. Because one thing which is quite difficult to monitor is the online studies. We don't really know how much involvement students have and whether or not they're actually studying at home. So for us, it's a way of finding out what the student is doing, how often the student communicates with the supervisor, with the tutor. And of course it allows them that interaction with somebody who can guide them through the assessment. So I think this, which means we could have obviously Herald College logo here. So when students access the platform, they know who they're studying with. It's obviously more relevant for them. So we do that for the centre, of course. And from that platform, because this is what we have built in with us, with LSM, but when students, so following the ODP program, when student is starting on the Anglia Ruskin University, it's linked directly to their, what they call virtual learning environment, which is very similar to what we offer through our IMSS. And that allows them to gain access to university resources, so their library and their guidelines for courses and modules. So we've incorporated that into our platform itself. To form groups between themselves where they can discuss their course, their assignments. Just trying to. Normally, it's very much like live chat, but then obviously, if we have it, if we're bringing the courses into classroom environment, then that could obviously be replaced by peer interaction rather than the live chat mode. It's the